What is up, everybody? So I have been doing quite a few test rides in the last month and a half, and they have been nothing short of spectacular. There has not been a bike that I have kind of shook my head at or just been like, nah, that wasn't fun. And for a guy who has owned almost strictly Harleys, I've had 4 bikes. My very first bike was not a Harley because I didn't want to get a Harley and drop it, which I did. I did drop my first bike. I didn't want to have my first bike be be a really nice bike because you just don't know. It's a unknown quantity because you're a new rider. So my next 3 bikes, including this one, have been Harley Davidsons, but I've had a good mixture of test rides between Harley Davidson models and non-Harley Davidson models. And what I would analyze after doing all these rides is that if you are interested in a bike, you need to go out and test ride it, for one. And for two, I think you need to keep your options open. Now, I am a Harley guy, and if I was to tell you, if you were new to riding or you wanted to buy a bike and maybe you haven't had one in a while, is to just have an open mind. Of course, I would suggest buying a Harley, sure, but I would first say, what is your need? What are you buying a bike for? Is it for commuting? Is it for style? Is it for both? Is it to sit in your garage so people can look at it and you can take it out every once in a while to show everybody? When I go out and test ride, I'm not gonna buy it because I just bought this bike. But at the same time, I am doing my research. It's not like all of these bikes that I've ridden I wouldn't consider in the future. Would I go out for a second test ride if I was considering trading this in for BMW or a Ducati or a Zero electric bike? I would definitely go back and ride again. But I have a good starting point now as to where I would want to go, maybe when it's time to move on from the Fat Bob. Now, if I'm being completely frank, if I could find, so let's say I got this bike all paid off, I would go out and try and find a Lowrider S, a used Lowrider S, and I would pick that up because that bike is still king in my book, for a lot of reasons. Mostly because I think the Lowrider S is like the complete package. For a premium bike, we're talking about, it comes with a lot of features that the regular Lowrider doesn't. Cruise control. You've got the premium rear emulsion suspension. What else does that bike have? There's it's got the stage 1 upgrade as far as performance with the air intake. It's completely blacked out, which is totally what I like in a bike. So the Lowrider S to me is just a complete package, and especially now trying to go out and find one used, I always have my eyes open for bikes, and I don't know, probably not a great thing to do is to always be looking for the next thing. But if we're also being completely frank, and it would depend on a lot of circumstances. If we were already moved into our house and I had solar panels on my house, I would really be torn between the Lowrider S and the Zero electric motorcycle. That bike was so fun to ride, and as hard as it would be for me to get over the fact that those things don't make any noise.
Flashback.
And it's completely silent. Oh, that power is direct. And the fun factor on those bikes, and really the cool factor combined with that, because what's the opposite of being super loud is being completely silent, and that's pretty cool to me. So what other bikes have I ridden that I would really consider? Again, if I was looking for a sportier bike, that was, you know, just plush and a pretty good value as well. The BMW R9T, the pure trim is what I rode, and that bike was really, really nice. I mean, it was just plush. I mean, it's got ABS. That's another thing the Lowrider S has, was ABS standard. But the R9T Pure has ABS. You can get optional navigation, which is pretty cool as well. Yeah, so BMW. So we got Zero, BMW, and Harley in the mix there. So after testing all these bikes and, you know, spending a considerable amount of time traveling from dealer to dealer and making these videos for you all, I'm excited to continue to review more bikes. Now, I have somebody in my neighborhood who owns a Sportster 1200 custom. It's either a custom or a 1200 low, and it does not get ridden at all. I've seen them move the bike from one spot to another, and it stays in that exact same spot for and the spot that it's been in now has been there for at least a month and a half. And I've been really, in my brain, been saying to myself, you need to go ask them if you can do them a favor and you can ride that bike every once in a while. Because and this is just from a bad experience, is there was a bike that I was willing to drive down to Southern California from Northern California, which can be at the most like an 8-hour, 9-hour drive, to go pick up a bike. It was a lowrider, 2003 with very low miles. It was like 5,000 miles, which means, you know, if it's a 15-year-old bike and it only has 5,000 miles, it means that it was babied or it has sat. So I asked a lot of questions, and they finally opened up about it, that the bike has just been sitting there doing absolutely nothing for 5 years. And if you've done any research at all, or you know anything about engines or motorcycles, that bike is gotta have some serious work done to it. It was devastating for him to tell me that this bike basically is just a shell. You know, the engine's got to have a complete, you know, it's gonna have to have a complete overhaul. So I wanted to approach these people that are just letting this bike sit there and say, hey, let me do you a favor when it comes for you time for you to sell your bike, because that's inevitably what's going to happen with that person's bike, because it's just sitting there. They're going to sell it, and it's just a matter of when and not if. So I'll do them a favor, and I'll ride their bike around. I'll do some vlogs from it. You know, I'll review it. Heck, I'll even help them sell it when it comes time. But again, there's so many like insurance things, and if this was like the 1970s or the 60s, when there was just there wasn't these kinds of questions about you know, insurance and liability, I think I would have done it. But I'm so close. I'm so close, because I hate seeing a bike just get trashed and ruined because people are irresponsible. And so they own a house, obviously, and they've got a nice couple of cars in their garage or their front yard, and they've got this bike sitting there. So I mean, they've got disposable income. But I'm telling you, it kills me to know that they bought that bike however long ago, and now it's just it's gonna turn into a piece of junk. And that just irks me. So if that irks you too, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And guys, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're so inclined and you want to come back for more, hit the subscribe button and come on back and see me. Guys, if you're riding, please be safe. And if you're not riding, you should get riding. Check it out. Go take an MSF course and get your motorcycle license. And if you're not riding and you have no intention to ride, just be good. Guys, this is that one guy. I won't be seeing you, but you will be seeing me later. And I'm out.